Movies with powerful gangsters as main characters are always amazing, but have you ever wondered about the real-life gangsters and their stories? In today's Top 11, we present the 11 most powerful gangsters you've ever heard of, and we're certain you'll enjoy. Are you ready to see the Notorious 11? Well, be ready, because we're sure some of them you've never ever heard of, and their stories will shock you. Number 1, Frank Lucas. We'll start off today's list with a relatively recent gangster, recent as in he just died in 2019, not so recent as he was born in 1930. And he's none other than Frank Lucas. He was an American drug smuggler who had the Harlem boss Bumpy Johnson from when he was a teenager and for 15 years after. He managed to develop his own drug ring and, even more amazingly, managed to break the Italian-American monopoly that the bosses before him had. In the 60s and 70s, he was the name in Harlem and was earning about $1 million a day by selling his so-called blue magic heroin. Even though he was sentenced to 70 years in prison in 1976, he only served 5 of those as he collaborated with authorities on drug cases. Number 2, Salvatore Riina. As you can probably guess, Salvatore Riina was an Italian gangster, but more than that, he was the chief of the Sicilian Mafia, and he gained the nickname Toto Ocurto. When Luciano died, he became the head of the Corleone criminal organization in the mid-70s and managed to keep his position and his notorious name by making the police target his rivals. Even today, he's mostly famous for his murder campaign with assassinations of anti-mafia. When he was tried for multiple murders in 1969, he and Luciano managed to clear out their name by intimidating both the jurors and the witnesses. He also ordered the murder of 17 people and left more than 200 wounded to avoid an investigation. This came to be known as the Christmas Massacre. How you holding up so far? Be ready, because the best stories are yet to come, and don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment saying, "I subscribe," and I'll personally reply to your comment. Number 3 is Pablo Escobar. One of the most well-known names on the list is Pablo Escobar. Even before the hit series Narcos, which is based on his real-life story, Escobar was famous as a drug lord all over the world. He was founder of the Medellin cartel. In the 1970s, he began his career as a criminal by selling illegal cigarettes, kidnapping people for ransom, vehicle theft, and whatever. By 1976, he had his own cartel and started smuggling cocaine in the U.S. When we say smuggle, we're talking about smuggling 80 tons of cocaine in one day from Colombia to the U.S. He tried his hand at politics as well, and even got elected as an alternate member of the Chamber of Representatives. He had so much power, the people of Colombia either loved him or feared him, which left him with such power it took years and many unsuccessful tries to take him down from his pedestal as the king of cocaine. Number 4, Carlo Gambino. Wow, what a name. Carlo Gambino is the perfect example when you think of Italian mafioso. He was a member of the Gambino crime family and had nicknames you're going to recognize instantly. The Godfather is one of them, and the other, Don Carlo. Yep, you guessed it, the movie Godfather is partly inspired by him. He started his career as a criminal in 1921 at the ripe age of 19 years old by being christened as an assassin into the Cosa Nostra. Along with Frank Costello and Bugsy Siegel, he joined a Young Turks gang which was led by Lucky Luciano. His career took a turn in 1957 when he ordered the assassination of Albert Anastasia and thus became the head of the Mangano crime family, which he changed to the Gambino family. In all of his 50-year career, he only served 22 months in jail for tax evasion and finally died on his bed of a heart attack in 1976. Number 5 is Veto Genovese. Born in 1897, Veto Genovese became famous as an enforcer in the American Mafia during Prohibition. He was involved in the Castilla-Maurice War, which was what helped shape the rise of the Mafia in the U.S. He was competing for the title of Boss of Bosses by attempting the murder of Frank Costello and ordering the murder of Albert Anastasia. Yep, I know we've seen the same story before, but that's the Mafia for you. It's a small family. Well, completely dysfunctional and murderous, but still small. An interesting fact is, he was playing in a high-stakes card game, along with mobster Ferdinand Boccia, and they conspired to cheat a gambler for $150,000, which is a lot even in today's money. Boccia wanted a share of the money for introducing him to the victim, but Genovese would have none of it. He killed him in a coffee shop in Brooklyn. In 1937, he fled to Italy, afraid of being caught for Boccia's murder. Last fact about Genovese, he donated $4 million to Mussolini's party after the end of World War II. We're almost in the middle of the video, so hey, it's the perfect time to remind you to give the video a like. Go right ahead and subscribe and turn those notifications on. And when this video ends, visit our channel and watch even more amazing top 10s. All right, back to the gangsters, and get ready because it just gets scarier. Number 6, Sam Giancana. Born in Chicago in 1908 from Italian immigrant parents, Sam Giancana made his name by leading the Chicago outfit from 1957 to 1966. Both him and the Mafia were involved in the victory of John F. Kennedy, and Giancana was also recruited by the CIA to assassinate none other than Fidel Castro. Yeah, this guy has a very interesting life story indeed, and you haven't even heard half of it. Along with some other Mafia leaders, Giancana's name was also involved in the assassination of JFK. Weird? Well, yeah, to say the least. In 1966, he fled to Mexico to avoid prosecution, but was arrested and deported back to the U.S. in 1974. He met his end by being shot in the head and neck 7 times in his own house. Number 7, Joseph Colombo. Born in New York City in 1923, Joseph Colombo was famous for being the boss of the Colombo crime family, which was one of 5 families in the American Mafia in New York. Like father, like son, Joseph Colombo's dad was a member of the Profaci crime family. The apple really didn't fall far from the tree. Colombo created the first Italian Unity Day rally held in 1970 and was protesting about federal prosecution of all Italians. Colombo joined the Profaci family and became a top enforcer, and after Profaci's death, he was ordered by Magliocco to kill Lucchese and Gambino. But Colombo revealed his plan to them, which led Magliocco to confess his plan and saved his life by retiring as a boss of the Profaci family. We're going to leave you with the fact that Colombo assisted Paramount Pictures when they filmed The Godfather in 1971. Number 8 is Griselda Blanco. Yes, your eyes and ears don't deceive you. Griselda Blanco is actually a woman, although admittedly not one of many in the prominent gangster business. She started her criminal career with prostitution and pickpocketing, but quickly rose to power when she started controlling the infamous Medellin cartel and became a Miami-based cocaine queen. She was also known as the Black Widow and the Cocaine Godmother, especially through the 80s up through the early 2000s. She became the first ever billionaire female criminal with a net worth of over $2 billion. She was also involved in more than 200 murders. She met her end in 2012 after police shot her. We've made it to the top 3. Do you think we kept the best for last? Because, of course, we most certainly did. Prepare for the creme de la creme of the gangsters. Number 9, it's Lucky Luciano. One of the most famous mafia kings of all time, Lucky Luciano was the first gangster who legitimized mafia power in America. He was born Charles Luciano and started his criminal career by joining the 5 Points Gang. He was also involved in the Castellammarese War and was called the father of modern organized crime, mostly because of the fact he established the Commission in 1931. More than a gangster, Lucky was a businessman. He tried to completely eliminate gang wars, which was met with acceptance from the other mafia bosses. In 1936, he was convicted for prostitution rackets and sentenced to 30 to 50 years in prison, which he shortened by helping the U.S. Navy's security measures during World War II. Number 10 is Frank Costello. Frank Costello started his criminal career very early in life at the age of 13 by joining a local gang in East Harlem called the 104th Street Gang. His brother Edward was also involved in the crime world, and he was the one that introduced him to the whole shenanigans. He was involved in gambling, bootlegging, and other criminal activity along with Lucky Luciano. He did prison in 1908, 1912, and again in 1917 for assault and robbery. He had the nickname the Prime Minister due to his popularity, and also became a crime boss when he became head of the Luciano crime family. Number 11. Who else? Al Capone. You wouldn't think we'd leave you without mentioning the most famous gangster of all, did you? Well, let's take a very brief synopsis of the legend that is Al Capone. He was an American boss and businessman and made his fortune in the 20s through several different criminal activities. By 1927, he was a billionaire and had a net worth of $3 billion by 1929. He started with his mentor, Johnny Torrio, and became a member of the 5 Points gang while still a teenager. Along with his mentor, they co-founded the Chicago Outfit, which Capone was the leader. After Torrio's death, he continued to be very active in the criminal world by engaging in smuggling, prostitution, and bootlegging. He was also loved by the people because of huge donations he made to several charities, which gave him the nickname Modern-Day Robin Hood. But as sweet as it all sounds, he was also the man who killed his 7 gang rivals on what's now known as the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. After that, he was tagged Public Enemy Number 1. Along the many nicknames was that of Scarface and Big Al. His life became a blockbuster movie in 1987 with The Untouchables. And there you have it for today, the top 11 most powerful gangsters ever. Now it's time to hear from you. Which one's your favorite and which one did you like the least? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget, head to our channel and watch that most interesting top 10 on the internet. We'll see you next time.